Happy Monday, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here. We had a perfect start to the week. Wouldn't it be nice if we had this weather on the weekend? Just gorgeous weather today. A lot of sunshine, no humidity, warm temperatures actually below normal. And we're going to keep this around at least for probably another day before we start to get back to more typical weather for this time of year by the middle and the end of the week. So a few things to talk about here in this weather update. Let's just start with the numbers for today. 87 in the books. 5 degrees below where we should be this time of year. Normal is still 92. So even though it's September, even though we're kind of, maybe looking forward to some cooler weather, we still do get those hot temperatures. And I mean, check out how hot it can be. 2 years ago, 2023, we had a record high temperature of 106. We woke up this morning in the upper 60s. Tonight into tomorrow morning, I think we could actually drop into the mid 60s. So a real taste of some fall weather here. Your sunset tonight at 7:35. All right, so the high temperature that we had today, just a little fun fact for you, of 87 is more typical of what we see in the beginning of October. So, I mean, it's not your imagination. It really does kind of feel fall-ish out there. Our version of fall, at least, mid to upper 80s. We will get back to the more typical low to mid 90s, though, as we head towards the middle of the week. But hey, this is a sign of things to come, right? As we go through the next few months, temperatures keep on dropping. And as of 6:30 this evening, temperatures still in the mid 80s, up a couple degrees from this time yesterday when we had the rain and the clouds clearing out of the area. But it is that number that I want you to pay attention to, the dew point temperature. We talk about this from time to time. It's the main influence in how things feel for us. And when you've got dew points in the 50s, that just brings us that dry, comfortable, crisp, fall-like feel to the air. That's what we got out there right now. I would say by the end of the week, we're back to the summer humid, at least to muggy conditions, with dew points in the 60s and 70s. So enjoy this while it lasts. I think we'll get a couple more days of it here across southeast Texas. And it's that dry air that allows the temperatures to cool off so nicely at night. Now, I do think within the loop will probably be a couple degrees warmer, mid 60s. Once you get outside the loop, Dyersdale, Aldine, Acres Homes, we could see low 60s. Beyond that, same thing for Tascasita, up towards Tomball, and then to the south here, especially out towards Galveston Bay, will be a little bit warmer in the 60s, maybe even 70s. But again, with clear skies and low humidity, it's going to feel great. 61 by tomorrow morning in Columbus, 60 for Brenham. And look, I know the map says 63 in Conroe. I could see how we drop maybe even into the upper 50s by tomorrow morning. Down towards the coast, a little bit warmer. I think we'll do mid to upper 60s and probably 70s on the island. And by the way, the overnight forecast temperature for Houston of 65 degrees, if we get there tonight, that'll be the first time that we've gotten that cool since May 12th. So it's been a long time since we've had weather this cool move into the area. I don't think it's going to stick around for a long time. I think we'll probably do 2 more nights of comfortable temperatures before we see those numbers back into the low and mid 70s, but actually pretty close to normal. Our average low temperature this time of year is 73. So, we'll take that over upper 70s, but still the 60s are a nice treat. Again, more typical of what we see once we get into October. And it's all thanks to these numbers. Again, the dew point temperatures, we just showed you anything below 60 feels great, feels crisp, refreshing. We've got that all over the eastern half of the state. Down to the south, though, a little more humid. So that's where all of our humidity went. It got pushed into South Texas. That's where it will stay at least for another day or two before it starts to move back into the area. So getting into tomorrow, look at the dew point temperatures. We could get numbers into the 40s even. So it's going to feel amazing Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, I think we see humidity stay low again. And then by Thursday, the humidity starts to surge back, at least for the morning. I think by the afternoon, though, we'll see the numbers drop probably back into the 60s. So not as dry as it is right now, but it'll still feel decent. I think for the afternoon, it's the morning and the overnights, though, that will turn noticeably more humid here towards the end of the week. So cool nights, again, probably through Wednesday. That'll be coupled with warm and dry days. And then the humidity does start to make its return gradually towards the second half of the week and the weekend. Nothing to show you on radar. Satellite is quiet as well. Where is all of this coming from? It's being funneled in from the northeast from high pressure that's over the Arkansas area, the Oklahoma area, and all of that comfortable weather is pushing in our direction. So that's going to stay in place, again, probably for another day or so. Tonight, it's cool, it's dry, we've got clear skies out there, all the ingredients you need for those comfortable temperatures. Tomorrow, not a cloud in the sky yet again. Temperatures close to 90, but again, with the lack of humidity, it'll feel more like the upper 80s. And then I would say by Wednesday, you start to notice a little more humidity creeping into the picture, and then more and more as we go through the end of the week. Still sunny, though, as we go through it. I would say all the way through the weekend. No rain chances here. Look at this. You know, today, all the way through Friday, bone dry, goose egg rain chances for us here in southeast Texas. And you know what? We're not the only ones that are seeing these dry conditions. Look out in the tropics. There's nothing going on. No waves coming off the west coast of Africa for now. Nothing in the Caribbean, nothing in the Gulf. I mean, we'll still keep our eyes peeled for any potential development, but the models have things really quiet right now, and that's just because there's so much Saharan dust that's moving through the basin. So no development expected as of right now for the next 7 days. Today, though, today's an important day for our friends and family down on Galveston Island. Today marks the 125th anniversary of the great 1900 Galveston hurricane making landfall. September 8th, 1900 is when that storm made landfall. This was the deadliest hurricane to ever make landfall in the U.S., but also the deadliest natural disaster by a long shot in U.S. history of any kind. The estimates are 6,000 to 12,000 dead. Most kind of even it out around 8,000, but still, the death count was so high they couldn't get an accurate number because so many folks were washed away in the storm surge. It was a terrible storm, but a defining moment for the city of Galveston. It was actually that hurricane, one, that ended up giving Houston the upper leg in terms of developing cities. At that point, Galveston was like the New York City of the South because it was right there at the port. But when the hurricane wiped away a good portion of the city, everyone was like, well, maybe we should develop a little farther up north, and Houston is the one that started to take over. But it was that storm that also prompted the creation of the Galveston seawall, which obviously still stands today. And that seawall was tested in 1909 and 1915 by subsequent hurricanes, and it saved a huge part of that city. So it really has proven its worth over the last 125 years. So even though things are quiet now, it is a reminder, the Galveston hurricane, that we're at the peak of hurricane season, and we typically see, especially the last few years, backloaded seasons. So even though it's been quiet up to this point, that's not to say that the end of September into October won't be busy. I hope it won't, but I'm just saying don't let your guard down yet as we get closer and closer to the peak of the season. If you're traveling tomorrow, gorgeous weather in the Northeast, mid to upper 70s everywhere from Boston to DC, back through Cleveland, tons of sunshine, probably the best weather in the country. Southeast looks pretty good as well. Notice no 90s on the board. This is unusual. 81 for Atlanta, Charlotte, Queen City, gorgeous. Upper 70s with sunshine. Miami, you'll be in and out of storms. Temperatures in the upper 80s there. New Orleans, partly cloudy, 88. Across the state tomorrow, beautiful weather for us in Houston. We'll see lots of sunshine, 80s up towards Dallas, a little bit warmer across West Texas, mid to upper 90s. Kansas City at 80 degrees with a storm chance tomorrow. Springfield at 84, 70s for Chicago, Twin Cities in the low 70s with a storm chance, and then 80s back across the Dakotas. In the Southwest, hot Phoenix 105 with sunshine, 86 Denver, 88 Salt Lake, 97 for Vegas, mid 70s for San Francisco and LA. And finally, in the Pacific Northwest, chilly and unsettled with showers and storms from Oregon through Seattle, windy conditions as well, and then temperatures in the 70s and 80s through the Intermountain West. For us back here at home, clear and cool tonight, 65, your low temperature. For your Tuesday, still dry, still not humid, 89, just perfect weather with tons of sunshine. There's that 7-day forecast. We'll get back to the 90s by Wednesday, and a few spots may touch 90 tomorrow as well, but widespread low 90s for Wednesday. Humidity gradually comes back, especially by Thursday, but I think you really notice it more so in the mornings. Notice the overnight temperatures go from the mid 60s to the mid-70s. So that's the higher humidity coming in. I think the afternoons, though, are still comfortable and no rain chances through the weekend into the start of next week. So a great forecast here, smooth sailing across southeast Texas. Soak in the next few days because, of course, as we know here, it doesn't last. That's a look at your forecast. We'll have an update on the tropics coming up live on KHOU 11 Plus. That's at 8 o'clock. Just a pulse check on what's going on out there. And of course, we'll have an updated live newscast and update on this forecast on the KHOU 11 News at 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you then.